In this video, we'll be taking a look at all today's NBA matchups, and I'll break them all down with free winning picks so you can bet smarter and win bigger. But first, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell so you get our picks the second they drop, because when the lines move, the early birds cash in. And if you want the full winning sport picks experience, head over to wspicks.com and check out our VIP packages, or grab a free consultation with one of our professional sports consultants for the sharpest edge you'll find anywhere. That's where the real plays live. We are your bookmaker's worst nightmare. These are the games we're hammering, the ones the books can't afford you to bet. This is Winning Sport Picks. The free picks are about to drop, and they're coming in hot. We'll start with Indiana against Atlanta, and this is the type of game where the number tells you the story before the tip. Indiana is catching 5, while Atlanta is sitting at -4.5, and that split alone shows you the market is not unanimous. You've got a half-point window because different books are hanging slightly different prices. That's important because it usually means this matchup is being treated as a 1 or 2 possession game, not something that should get away from either side. When you're getting 5 in a game that profiles tight, you're basically buying protection against late-game randomness, the backdoor, the weird final minute, the foul game that flips a margin without flipping who played better. Now look at the total. Over 232.5 is juiced, and the under is sitting at 233. That's another signal the market is hovering right around the same scoring expectation, and it usually means any stretch of slower possessions or empty trips can tilt this thing under. With a spread that implies a competitive game, I lean to the under because tight games tend to get more deliberate late, and every possession gets squeezed. The side I'm taking is Indiana +5, and the total I'm pairing with it is the under 233. Next up is Philadelphia against Charlotte, and this is another one where the spread is small enough that you're betting the shape of the game more than the better team. Philadelphia is catching 3, and Charlotte is laying 2, so again, you've got that mismatch between books that screams tight game. When the market can't agree on the exact number, it's usually because the true difference is razor thin, and that's where taking points becomes the sharp move. You're not asking Philadelphia to dominate, you're asking them to stay inside a 1 or 2 possession window, and that's a much easier job. The total is sitting in a range where the market is basically saying, we'll see steady scoring but not a full sprint, because you've got over 227.5 and under 230. That's not a clean two-way number, it's a band, and when you see that, it tells you the book is comfortable letting bettors pick a lane. In this spot, I prefer the under because the spread suggests a close game, and close games tend to slow down late with longer possessions and fewer early clock shots. Give me Philadelphia +3 and give me the under 230. Now we've got Orlando against Cleveland, and this one is clean and sharp. Orlando is catching 4.5, Cleveland is laying 4.5, and the total is basically a mirror at 226.5 both ways. That's the market telling you it has a very firm idea of what this game is: competitive, controlled, and sitting in that mid-220s scoring pocket. When totals are that tight on both sides, the smart move is to lean on game script and betting psychology. The public tends to see this number and assume points because it's the NBA, but the market is not giving you a high 230s or 240s here. It's pricing something more methodical. With Cleveland laying a mid number, they need separation, and separation usually comes from sustained execution, not chaos, which again supports a slower, more deliberate pace. I like Orlando catching 4.5 because it's a possession and a half of protection in a game the market says stays competitive. The side I'm taking is Orlando +4.5, and the total I'm taking is the under 226.5. Next is Memphis against Houston, and here the math hits you in the face. Memphis is catching 10.5, and the total is 222. When the total is not inflated, big spreads become harder to justify because there are fewer possessions to create margin. If you're laying double digits, you want a faster game with more scoring chances to stretch the gap, and the market isn't giving you that here. So the value naturally leans to the dog because 10.5 is a lot of points in a game expected to land around 222. On the total, I'm not trying to get cute. The number is right on the edge, and I'd rather trust that a game priced in the low 220s can still creep over if it stays competitive and both sides keep scoring pressure on. When the underdog covers, overs often have a better chance than people think because the trailing team keeps pushing to stay alive. The side I'm taking is Memphis +10.5, and the total I'm taking is the over 222. Now let's talk Lakers against Chicago, and this is where people get trapped by instinct. The Lakers are laying 1.5, and Chicago is catching 1.5, so the market is saying this is basically a one-possession game. That is not the type of number where you want to be paying for a favorite unless you have a very strong reason, because one whistle, one scoring run, one late possession, and the whole spread flips. Taking points in a short spread game is the disciplined approach because you're not trying to be perfect, you're trying to be protected. The total is 236 flat both ways, and that's a high number that invites the public to say over automatically. But high totals also create value on unders when late game pressure slows pace and both teams start trading longer possessions. If this game stays tight, you often get a more deliberate fourth quarter, which makes 236 harder to clear than it looks. The side I'm taking is Chicago plus 1.5, and the total I'm taking is the under 236. Finally, we've got Portland against Boston, and the market is asking Boston to win with margin. Boston minus 9.5, while Portland is plus 9.5. That's a big number, and big numbers are always about one question. Do you get 4 quarters of focus, or do you get 3 quarters and then the game drifts? When a favorite is laying 9.5, any lull, any late game coast, any extended bench stretch, and you're inviting the back door. Portland catching 9.5 is a lot of room, and it's especially valuable when the total sits in the mid-220s range over 224.5, under 225. That's not a wild shootout number, it's a normal scoring number, and normal scoring makes it harder to separate by double digits. For the total, I prefer the under 225 because if Boston controls the game, they can control pace, and pace control is what keeps totals from blowing past mid-220s. The side I'm taking is Portland plus 9.5, and the total I'm taking is the under 225. Now listen to me, those are the free picks, but the one game I am unloading on tonight, the game that's going to crush your bookie's soul, that's the VIP play of the day at WSPicks.com. This is the nuke, the hammer, the max bet, the one play I've circled, the game that will bury your bookmaker 6 feet under. When it hits, and it will, your bookie is going to need a doctor, a lawyer, and maybe even a priest. If you want to ride with me on the biggest bet of the day, get to WSPicks.com right now. Now here's the recap, all in one shot. We're taking Indiana plus 5 with the under 233, Philadelphia plus 3 with the under 230, Orlando plus 4.5 with the under 226.5, Memphis plus 10.5 with the over 222, Chicago plus 1.5 with the under 236, and Portland plus 9.5 with the under 225. This is Winning Sport Picks, where we don't just bet, we bury bookmakers. Smash that subscribe button, drop your favorite plays in the comments, and hammer that like button like you're hammering your bookie into the dirt. We're cashing, we're dominating, and tonight we're dancing on the grave of your bookmaker. Let's go!